Well, to take a look more at this developing story, we're going to be joined by SABC News reporter Makgala Masiteng, who has been following this matter for us in Free State Province. Makgala, a very good evening, and thank you for your time. I mean, you've been following this story rather closely. Perhaps you could just bring us up to speed with these latest developments that have come to the fore.
Yes, Lisa, good evening. Yes, this latest development will then mean that after they have, of course, gone to the Constitutional Court, will then get the decision from the Constitutional Court whether they are granting them leave to appeal or not. And then from there, of course, as you had already indicated in the intro, the NPA has indicated that they will be opposing this application. But this, of course, comes after that decision that was delivered last month by the Supreme Court of Appeal, where it dismissed the application of Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. Of course, there was a dissenting judgment there, which they did indicate at that time that they are going to go back and study the judgment in detail so that they can be able to decide on the way forward. Now, you'll remember that already the date was set for a trial on this matter to sit on the 21st of July until the 19th of September 2025. But with this latest development, there's highly likelihood that that trial will then be moved or be postponed due to the fact that now we have to look into the matter that is now possibly, of course, going now to the Constitutional Court, given that they are able to then grant Dr. Nandipha Magudumana leave to appeal the judgment that was delivered by the Supreme Court of Appeal. So we might see a little bit of another delay there on this matter, where we know that accused, including even Thabo Bester on this matter, are expected to, of course, in court, where they are facing sort of in summary a total of 38 pounds charges, of course, ranging from your corruption, your fraud, your money laundering, and also the issues of course, assisting Thabo Bester to escape.
Makgala, if we even just look at the merits of the case, I mean, if we're looking at the issue of consent that has been highlighted from her and a legal team, but also the minority judgment aspect, the dissenting judgment by Justice Mhaga, unpack that a little bit more for us. Well,
when that judgment, the four justices or judges on this matter, of course, dismissed their application. However, one judge agreed with what they were saying in terms of the argument that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana's coming back to South Africa was unlawful. You'll remember again that she also wants the court to then release her on the basis that the courts don't have jurisdiction, to the fact that her coming back to South Africa is unlawful as an argument. So we'll see how deep they will go, but I can see with this petition, among other things that they want here is for, of course, for the Court of Appeal to set aside the order that was released by the Supreme Court of Appeal, but they want that judgment to be then substituted the fact that it should be upheld with courts, and also the fact that Dr. Nandipha Magudumana should also be released from Bizamagati Correctional Center, where she's being held right now in Kroonstad. But we'll see how far that will go. Those have been their arguments, and also they were even basing their arguments, Lisa, on the judgment that was delivered by the High Court, where after delivering that judgment, they did somehow agree that a deportation was a disguised extradition, but dismissing that application, they said they are dismissing it because she she agreed to come back to South Africa. In fact, some arguments of the NPA was the fact that there was no way that officials would say no when she said that she wanted to come back to South Africa. So we'll see how far they go into arguing and convincing the Apex Court to, of course, hear their matter and rule in their favor as well.
Oh, and Makgala, as we wrap up, just given the escalation of this now to the Constitutional Court, what are prospects at this point of success? What are the scenarios that are disposable as well? I mean, even if she does win, does she then return to Tanzania? There's just so many questions coming to the fore at this point.
Well, a lot can come out. Of course, they are basing even now their given confidence by also the fact that there was at least one judge who this matter the way they are arguing. So they will base their arguments, of course, on as to whether they'll be able to convince the Constitutional Court. We'll have to wait and see. Going to happen. Of course, it has been a lengthy matter. You'd see that there has been appeal in this matter, and they've been dealt with blows after blows from the lowest court to now the Supreme Court of Appeal. But of course, they are taking chances to go to the Supreme Court, rather the Apex Court. Yet remember that the other accused, Thabo Bester, was also following the same path in terms of saying that their arrest was unlawful, but also what was at the top of his arguments was rather the fact that he's being treated unfairly where he's being held right now, and also I think that he also wants to have access to his laptop, but that matter was also dismissed by the Constitutional Court. So we're seeing also Magudumana go in that direction of going to the Constitutional Court. Of course, this matter further delaying the trial to begin on this matter, but we do know that most of the accused are out on bail. There's only Magudumana who is in Kroonstad, and then there's Bester as Zanda Moyo. Those are the only accused that are still in custody at the moment, but others have been released on bail.
Makgala, thank you for that succinct update. Of course, we are monitoring that developing story as it unfolds. Let's leave it there. SABC News reporter Makgala Masiteng bringing us the latest.